Oh, can you hear me? Hold on a second.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? You just muted yourself. Can you hear me? There you go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Samantha, where you at? The racetrack?
I am not. I'm at home.
All
I've
right,
been
what's
home
up?
since yesterday. So I had a couple questions for you. Anthony had mentioned that I think you're gonna be doing a seminar at some point for contractors.
Yes. Let me pull up the date.
Yeah, I needed to get some information from you because I'm gonna be setting up the contractors in our area for that seminar.
Yeah, it's going to be Saturday, June the 26th. It's going to be like a half-day event from like 8 in the morning until like noon.
26, 8 to noon.
Hey, that's a lot better. Now I don't hear any background noise or anything. Did you do something different?
No, it's raining here. I've got my bedroom window open and I just put it down. My cat's next to it. Okay. And what are we going to be discussing in that?
I'll send you a whole bunch of like marketing stuff to begin with, or once I put it together. But really, it's going to be I don't know, but it's the three secrets that for contract. You know, the three secrets to dominate your industry, your trade in your area, and 10x your business.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
We're in California, right?
Yeah. I'll send you a whole bunch of stuff. But it's like the wording and stuff. But it's basically you know how important the internet is. Google My Business, YouTube, Facebook, the videos, everything they need to do to stop chasing clients and start attracting clients.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be like an hour, maybe a little bit longer, with just real casual and taking questions and just really seeing where each contractor is, and then maybe take a little break, and then the next hour and a half we're going to do nothing but personal development stuff, called mental martial arts. Defend yourself against your toughest opponent. Your life sucks because of you. What are you going to do about it?
I love it.
And so basically, I mean, it's just going to be a small group. I was going to find a spot, but Anthony wants to do it there. He says, because I wanted it real small, like 10 contractors or less. I mean, maybe a little bit more if it was, but I just wanted it to be real casual and open-ended, so we can just talk and shoot the shit and see where they're at and see what they're struggling with and see what actions they need to take to move forward.
Okay, let me get on finding a venue because our office is way too small. Like we've just with the people that we have, we're already cramped. So I'll have to find a venue.
Yeah, because he was thinking that, because I don't know when you say we, who's we? You and him, and what's your friend's name? She was super nice. Amy?
That's Amy. She's my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. She's very, very knowledgeable in like programs and things of that nature, where I'm not. I'm slowly learning,
Yeah.
but she knows all of that stuff because she's worked for Enphase, which is a solar panel company. She's done tech support. She's done so much stuff that I put her in charge of it.
Yeah.
So there's me, Anthony, Amy. We have our project manager, Jeff, and his assistant, Nick. And so that's 5 people in 2 offices and a small wing area.
Yeah.
So definitely going to need to find a different venue to host that. And there's quite a few places.
Yeah, because I mean, all we need is like, 10 or 12 chairs or something.
So if you're going to make it in the morning at 8 o'clock, and it's a Saturday, like some kind of breakfast place, like just get like just a little room at an IHOP or something like that. And that way we can have food and drink and keep it cash and just kind of, you know what I mean? How do you feel
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
Or what's those other places? That Panera Bread type place. I think sometimes they have them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the noise. So I'm trying to think of like a place that has partitioned off
Yeah.
areas that we can still hear, because I have a hearing impediment.
Yeah.
I am actually deaf, so background noise is kind of hard for me.
Yeah, for everybody. I mean, it'll be distracting, and and I want the guys and girls or whatever. I want them to feel comfortable, shouting out, "That's bullshit" or whatever. Like, I don't want them to have to, mom and granddad are sitting in a booth next to them.
Yeah, so I'll work on that, just to make sure that we have the appropriate setting. I have a question for you. Like, how long have you been doing this?
Which part? Actually, both of them about 35 years.
So what exactly do you do? Anthony told me that you're a web page guy and didn't tell me much else.
That's like the last thing I do.
All right, what does Mr. Brian Adams do?
That's the last thing I do. So in a perfect world, I would do nothing but the mental martial art program, teaching people how to just, break old habits and form new habits and learn to be a slave to their habits so that they can, live a better life, no matter what their childhood or past circumstances was. So I've done that for quite a while, but every time, over the years, as you're doing that, they're like, I understand that, Brian, I understand that, but I need to pay the bills and keep the lights on. How I mean, my business is drowning. My business is drowning. And I'm like, well, your business is drowning because of you, but here's how you make a business work. So we kind of moved away from the personal development and moved into, business, specifically business orient on how to, one, drive leads, get the phone to ring, but then how to follow up with the leads, how to put the systems together to, turn those leads into an actual paying client. And once they're a paying client, turn them into a sales rep and send more work to you. But it's everything that we've done over the last 30 years business wise. And we did it for years, but we didn't do it with contractors only because contractors are so hard to freaking deal with. A big portion of them have huge egos and it's hard to freaking get them to do something different. So I didn't even want to deal with it. But these last 3 years, we've only dealt with contractors, and it's starting to be pretty good. And then, so the whole website thing came into play, because I've had to build mine since the 2004. I've hired and fired, 6 or 7 different, web people and internet people and SEO guys who didn't know anything. So I got freaking tired of it and just started doing my own. And then I did a couple for other guys, and then it's one of the major things that any company needs for sure. Contractor guys. So we just, added that to a list of our, services.
Okay. That's so super cool. Like I know there's correlations between personal development going to a business model with that. So personal question for, like, how long have you been working with Anthony? Roughly.
Man, for sure 2 years, but maybe rolling on 3, because we interacted for a good at least 6 months, maybe even 8 months. We interacted before he pulled the trigger and said, "Help me," because when it comes like for the whole and that's usually how it ends up with most contractors. I usually deal with them for like 6 or 8 months, and I never, I don't want to push them into doing anything because then it's a freaking battle to get them to keep doing it. So until they're ready to freaking really take the next step and do something different in their business, I just, keep giving them advice and ask, and sharing ideas with them. And then, finally, when they come around, they join the program, pay the money, and then, we go from there.
Okay.
Just recently, I've, ended up with like 3 or 4 contractors that came on board from day one, just, emailed me. And it was only because other contractors had told them, it was like they were both, or, they were all in a couple of different, business coaching programs that just wasn't working and doing anything, and a huge waste of money for them. And so a couple of other contractors that were in those groups with them, they reached out to them going, "Hey, you're not in the group anymore, and I'm getting ready to quit. So what's going on?" And then they, talked about me. And so they just called up, emailed immediately, ready to sign up and get busy. And
Heck
that's,
yeah.
that's, I don't know if that's rare, but it's yeah, maybe it'll happen more in the future, but yeah, those are the first 3 that's came across my desk like that.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's all about motivation, honestly.
Yeah, if they're not hurting enough, they won't, it's like, they won't do anything different until they get stuck between the rock and a hard place and just fed up with it and ready to quit. And I mean, it's a bad place to be, but it's also, it's like, you got to do something different, if you want a different result.
Yep. Gotta go to the definition of insanity of doing it over and over, expecting different results.
It is. I still do it with my daughters. It's like it's the same thing over and over again. They just look at me like, he's saying it again.
Never ends.
Yeah. Actually, I got to send Anthony a link because he's a music guy. But my 20-year-old just wrote and produced a heartbreak song that's pretty rock and rolly. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Send it to me too. I'm all about music.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like I came home and she was like, "I got it." Yeah. Yeah.
So because I'm fairly new myself to Sunshine Design and Build, and I don't quite know the outer workings of everything, what do you see as the biggest weakness inside of Sunshine Design and Build?
It's always the same thing. It's the organization and not being specific enough with everybody, and everybody not being on the same page. And I mean, because I even still do it. It was one of the hardest things for me to learn. And one of the stories I tell, just I was in my early freaking 20s, and one of my buddies who was like 18, 19 was telling me, I would hire these guys and train them a little bit, just expecting them to be like I was when I was 16 or 17, or thinking, just explaining halfway and thinking that they have it. And my buddy was like, "No, man, nobody gets it. Nobody gets it. Unless you're specific. And and it's not that you're belittling them, but it's got to be written down, and they've got to know it like step by step by step. If that means 1, 2, 3, A, B, and C, it is what it is. It's like you can't leave any little wiggle room for them to try to figure it out in the beginning on their own, because they're not going to, whether and you're going to keep beating yourself up, and you're going to keep beating these guys up until you start doing that. And that was really hard for me to get, but it's always been the same these last 30 some years. It's like anytime that I just explain it halfway, the other half gets not messed up, but done
Lost.
or yeah. And so it's always the organization and being super specific and micromanaging in the beginning until they really know it. Because there can be 2 or 3 different ways to do something, and that's okay, because the outcome is what we're always trying to achieve. A happy client, no matter what the service is, no matter what business you're in, a happy client that's ready to pay you and ready to tell all their friends about you. I don't care if it's washing cars or cutting hair or remodeling kitchens, it doesn't matter. So whatever that freaking is, there's a set way to get to that. And it could be 2 or 3 different ways to do it. But, it's like, if your name is on the door, if it's your reputation, you may have the way that you want to do it. But I usually leave it, hey, if something comes up, and I'm not here, or something needs to be figured out, we know what the end result is, make sure the customer is happy, at the end of the day. And that never changes.
Okay. So, what advice would you give me as the vice president of this company? What would be just 3 pieces of advice for me?
Yeah, for one, for you, or even the project man, like even with Anthony, I just told him the other day, I said, hey man, email me over that whole your mission statement, your core values, like the big picture. So like these 3 contractors that just signed up, their first homework assignment is to send me their mission statement, their core values. Those are like number 2, but number 1 is a really detailed description of where they want their company to be in 3 years or 5 years or 7 years. Like, even if they think it could never happen, if it could happen, where would they want it to be? 2 locations, 3 locations, or just 1 location that runs it, whatever it is. So until you have that big crazy vision, and once that vision is on the wall in the office, and everybody that comes in the office, everyone that even drives past the office and sees Sunshine Design and Build, you want everyone to know what that vision is, what the goal is. And now you've got something that everybody can freaking aim toward and work toward. And what do we need to do, these next 6 months, 6 years? What do we need? What's the daily actions that we need to take to get there? So when everybody's on that same page, then every day, with an open mind, we can all talk and discuss. Hey, then you just draw a line down the sheet of the paper. And at the, on the top left is, what did I do today to get closer to that? What did I do today that may have taken us away from that? And that's any goal in life. And it's definitely the same thing with business. It's like every day there's certain little, minute things that we can do that's going to get us closer to the vision of whatever it is. But if you don't have that vision, if you don't know where the company wants to grow to, then there's no way, what are you doing? You just, every day you're getting up going, let's see what happens. Let's see what life throws at us, and we'll react to it, versus going out and taking the action first. So that's like, if everybody's on the same, page, then you can start, your head can start spinning the wheels, and you can start coming up with things and different ideas. And then, like not all good ideas are great, but it's like, come up with all of them and just, like I made Anthony read this book, Your Next 5 Moves. It's like playing chess. It's like, let's play out the game. If we do this, this, and this, where's that going to get us? If we do this, what if this happens while we're doing that? How we're going to react to that. It's just playing out all these different moves in advance, but all of them are still leading to that one vision that the company has. So, so that would be my thing for you, is to like, hey, Anthony, where's the company going? Let me help you build it and get it there. Because I think, and this is being recorded. So, because he has mentioned to me that like, he kind of wants you to be like have a stake in the business, meaning like, profit sharing and all that shit. So, and that's what I believe every company should do, because until you haven't, like now you've got some skin in the game, and the better the company does, the more money goes in your pocket, and just all the way around. That's how it ends up working for everybody. So now you're not doing anything to freaking hurt the company. You're trying to do everything you can, because of, the more profit, you get to share in it, type of deal. So that's what I would want to see you get on that kind of page, so that every day, everybody's going, hey, let's do this, let's try that, what do we got to do? And then you're staying on top of Anthony, going, hey man, we can't let the project manager just run wild. Somebody's got to rein him in, and who's watching him, and let's, and if, and it's, and I don't know who all ends up with a stake in the business, but because just, you can still make mistakes and lose profit for the company, even though you have a stake in the business. But everybody has to kind of watch everybody to make sure, hey, are we doing this right? Is that the most efficient? Is there a more profitable way to do it? And because my buddy Les Brown says it's you can't see the picture when you're the frame. So even when you're in the middle of doing stuff, you're not, you may be missing something, but when you got 2 or 3 eyeballs on the outside watching you or looking at it or doing it, going, hey man, we can come up, hey, maybe if we do this, this is better. And everybody's ego has to be checked at the door. It's like, there's no ego, because the ego is the company. Everything that we're doing is for the company. It ain't to say hey, look what I did for the company. It's like, no, it's all one collective, bargaining. It's all one thing. The ego has to get checked, boom, everything is for the company. Everything's for the company. And I tell that to all these guys. Every time they come on board, it's like the biggest mistake contractors make is they get a license, they buy some tools, they may get a business checking account. Who freaking knows? But every check that they get from a homeowner, it's like they think it's their money. And I'm like, dude, it ain't your fucking money. It's the company. As soon as you started a company, now you work for the company, and you need to pay yourself the least amount possible that you can get by with. And the company needs to just keep growing with money, with money, with money. And everything is the company. Everything is the company. That's the only way the company is going to grow, is by hiring me and you and anyone else. And just because you own the company, it doesn't mean shit. You still work for the company, and you got to be the best employee that company has, meaning you got to work harder than anyone else and take the least amount of money, because it all needs to go back to the company so that the company can grow. That's a hard mindset for most contractors to grasp. They'll get a check, they'll get a deposit, they'll get a freaking deposit from the homeowner, and they've never seen that fucking money. Yeah, and it's like, hey man, there's a jet ski on better go buy the 2x4s. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like that's the biggest thing, is I sit here and watch, and I did it, so I can't say shit. I did it for 15 years because I've never had a penny growing up. I lived, I was the cheapest trailer in the park. So it's like, we never had money. So when I got a check from the homeowner, and it had a 0 or 2 at the end, I was like, oh my God, I've never seen that much money. You start buying shit that you've always wanted as a kid, and it snowballs out of freaking, and next thing you know, you've got credit with suppliers that you got to pay, and it's maddening.
So what is your top, not necessarily system, because I get system has a whole other description attached to it, but what would you say is the best system for tracking that sort of thing, like financial, like where the finances are going, things like that? What do you personally use?
Yeah, we're trying. I mean, I don't know. I'm about to invest, 20 grand and have a CRM, whatever the hell they are, built. But there's like hundreds of them. If you research them on the internet, the, client resource management type thing, and because they're all in the computer. But it's if during everything, it's just if someone comes to me and says, man, my health and fitness is suffering, blah blah blah, blah, whatever. If they come to me with finances and they're like, man, I can't get a handle on it, blah blah blah, it's like everything starts with, for the next week, the next month, is nothing in your life changes, but I want you to write down, so if it's finances, it's like, you don't spend a penny until you write it in the book. I said, I don't want you to change anything about the way you're living. It's like, because that's going to give us a false, direction. It's like, but everything has to be written down before you, same thing with health and fitness. Before it goes in your mouth, it goes in your notebook. Write every freaking thing down. Don't change anything. Just keep doing what you're doing for a month. And let's look at the end of the month, we're going to look at it and we'll see everything that needs to be changed. But even then, it's like, so as the money is coming in business wise, you can type it into a program, you can type it in, it doesn't matter where it's going, it just needs to be tracked. No matter which program you buy, whether it's Joist, invoices, no matter what it is, but not one penny from the company gets spent until it's written down. So it should be super clear, super easy to look at it, whether it's on a board, in a notebook, on a computer program, it doesn't matter. We know that $1,000 came in, and $3.60 went on this bag of nails, $14 went on this, $360 went on this kind of material, but you know where every freaking penny is. And only until we do that, we're guessing, and until you get it written down and looked at, we're guessing.
Right.
None of this. Well, I think we're doing is like, I think just can't cut it.
So how do you keep track of like employee, like the overhead, like the employee wages, things like that? Do you just keep it in an Excel spreadsheet, or
No, we do
recommend?
like my guy that took over, we have a bookkeeper that, either writes the check for payroll and all that stuff. And it all goes into one account and all comes out of that same account. So that makes it real easy to track. But then in construction, there's a certain amount of money that never goes into any account because we all want cash because we don't want to keep paying for the homeless. So, so in there lies the problem, is where you got to have pen and paper and kind of, keep a track on the cash flow. Some guys get paid cash, maybe they'll do 20 hours on the books, but they need 20 hours. It keeps down your workman's comp, all of that stuff. All of that needs to be figured out, in-house, and then, tracked, on either, like you said, a Excel sheet or, wherever you're going to put it. But to try to do it like, and I'm saying this and it's being freaking recorded, but to do it 100% legitimate is like, it's extremely tough, extremely tough.
Okay, so do you rely on the bookkeepers to keep track of your company growth as well? Or do you have a specific system for that?
On the growth?
Yeah, like let's say that we didn't have any viable clients, as opposed to the previous month where we had 6 figures worth of income for the company. Like, do you have a specific program that you would recommend to keep track of the monthly upswing? Or
like meaning the new projects that come in, or the projects that you already have,
right,
and they're being paid?
no, new projects.
Yeah. So from that part, it all goes back to like whether it's, Craigslist ads, mailers, flyers, door hangers, whatever, Google ads, Facebook ads, Google My Business, all of that is, over the years, and it takes a little while to really, really figure it out. But you need to know how many freaking phone calls it takes to turn into one project. So once we know how many phone numbers phone calls it takes, maybe it takes 6 phone calls to turn into a viable, a real project. So what do we need to do to get 6 phone calls? How how much money, or how many ads do we need to run on Facebook? How many ads on Google Business, Google ads, mailers, door, anything, everything, all marketing, being in front of people at the right time when they're ready to make the decision. But that is that part of it, to where you need to know that you need so many phone calls a day to turn into a project by the end of the week, by the end of the month. But then you need, like, when I'm working with these guys, it's specifically, how are you answering the phone? What are you saying to them? How are you building a relationship? What's the questions that you're answering? How are you setting up the face-to-face meeting? Because with Anthony's website, he's got so many videos floating all over the place. They almost already know him when they call. And that's where I want that's the whole thing about, dominating your trade in your area, is they see you so much and you're not trying to sell them anything. You're just trying to help them. And they see you in all these videos, giving them all this information that's going to help them. So when they are ready for a new kitchen remodel or whatever you do, now they're calling you up because they feel like you're a friend. They feel like they know you. But when the phone rings, who's answering it? How are they answering it? What kind of relationship are they building before they even ask the first questions about the project? What's the questions you are asking about the project? how are you setting up, whether it's a paid consultation or it should be a $200 consultation, but because of whatever reason, you're going to give it to them, you know, for no charge because you're in the area or whatever. Because when you get in, if it's a good sales guy and they get in front of them, meaning good sales means they're just building a really good rapport relationship wise. Now the more friendly and the more you can make the homeowner feel like you guys are best friends, the better the shot they're going to go with you. So now you've got that's one portion. It's like answering the phone, asking a question, building a rapport, setting up the face-to-face. And before you even, now you've set a date for the face-to-face. Is it 1 hour? Is it 1 week? Is it 1 day? In between the time you show up face-to-face, you should send an email with a video explaining like, hey, when I show up, it's going to be this, 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 but here's another project that we did 2 months ago, almost similar to the one that you're looking at. Now they've watched that video, they've seen this, you show up, you did everything you're going to do. Now you face-to-face, you build even a more relationship. You're looking at the pictures of the children, the trophies, the house, the neighbor, all of that stuff. You're building the relationship, you're walking through things and you're talking to them and you're saying, hey, you know, whether you go with us or not, let me show you over here what I'm talking about. If another contractor doesn't point this out to you, I want you to be aware of it. Here's boom, boom, boom. So you're building that trust. Boom. You got to go back. Maybe some guys just write the proposal right there by hand, give them the number, or maybe you got to go back, get some material price, whatever. You email them the price, boom, call them up, go over it. Hey, sent you the email. Can you pull it up? Let's go over it together. Maybe it's a Zoom call, no matter, you know, whatever it is, boom. Either, you know, if you want to lock in the price of the material, we need to have that signed by 2 or 3 days. You know, prices are going up, maddening, and they've seen it enough on the news. God bless you. They've seen it enough on the news. They know it's not bullshit. So then before the end of the 3 days or the week that they needed to make the decision, you wait like another day, you send them an email or a text message or something saying, hey, I just thought about this, you know, driving into work today, it popped into my mind, but here's another video that you may want to watch because it's going to show you this, this, and this. It's something you need to know about the price. So you stand in front of them and then you follow up again and they either make the decision and you put them on the back burner and let them come to you, you know, but all of that has to be systematically so that you do it over and over and over again. You hire some new person, here's what we do, and they're able to follow it. And again, it goes back to what we said earlier, that you can't leave it for guess, you can't leave it for, you know, anything. It's like step by step by step by step by step. And they can just check off, did that, check off, we did this, check it off, we did this, check it off, we did this.
Okay.
Does
So
that make
do you
sense, or is that too confusing?
No, that's perfect. You just contact the client for as long as it takes,
Yeah.
but you don't want to go too long.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so you obviously have, son of a bitch, what was I gonna say? You obviously have construction and construction experience. How long would you say I should not wait to close, like to go to build, like from proposal to build?
Yeah, I mean,
What is
yeah, that one's tough because yeah, that one's going to be like every home, every client is going to be different. It depends on what stage they're at. Some of them have been thinking about it for 2 years or 3 years. Some of them have been saving their pennies because they you know, follow, you know, Dave Ramsey's advice and they need all the money in the bank first. They're not going to get a loan. So everyone's going to be different. But that would be one of the first questions I ask, even when they call and when they first reach out, is like, you know, what's the time frame? When would you want it to be, you know, completed? You know, when would you want to start enjoying your new kitchen? When would you want to start enjoying your new deck? And then when they give me that name and that, you know, when they give me that date, you can work it back going, you know, you want to use that new deck this summer, which, you know, summer starts in 2 months. The project itself takes 3 months to build. So even if we started last month, we would barely be able to make it. So if we jump on it right now, maybe by the end of the summer, so which means we need to get a deposit, we need to get moving, you know, all of that stuff. But it depends on when they want to start enjoying whatever it is we're doing for them.
Okay.
And then, because if you have that end date, like, well, we're still thinking about it, and we're down, boom, boom, boom. And, then there's more questions that you need to have written down that you would ask if they give you that kind of open-ended answer. Then you need that question of like, well, if you had all the money and the numbers were right, and we could get started tomorrow, all of those things. So you need to see where they're at, because if not, you don't want to spend freaking 2 hours or 2 weeks coming up with stuff, and they're not going to really be ready for 2 more years. Not that you don't want the job 2 years from now, but it's still, who knows where they're going to be. They'll be divorced by then.
Right. Got divorce sales going on.
Yeah.
I saw a pretty good one a couple of weeks ago. Like the lady was selling all her ex-husband's tools and toys, and
Woo.
damn, somebody's pissed.
Can't make women mad, man. No.
Probably best not to.
No, it is not. It is not good.
So what is your one like go-to for closing a deal? What is the one staple that Brian always has that he pulls out for a difficult sale?
Yeah, usually I don't. I don't try to close anything. That's why I worked with Anthony for 6 to 8 months before he signed on and said, let's get busy. I don't want to try to talk them into anything until they're, really, really ready, to work with me, whether it's construction or anything. But what the one phrase that's always got me the most work and the most contracts signed was, like I just mentioned earlier, if I'm there, even if I'm on the phone, but if I'm at the house, it's like, it's really like, hey, whether we work together or not, because my schedule is filling up, always, but I want to make sure you get taken care of. So even if it's not me, I want to show you this over here. I want to explain this to you, how it should be done, the questions that you should ask any other contractor, because if they don't have the right answers, it means they're either lying to you or they don't know. And both of those are bad scenarios. So let me explain it to you. Like Denzel Washington said in the movie Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. I'll explain it to you so a 6-year-old could understand it. And here's how the project should be done, and here's why. And then I walk them through everything, and I'll send them that video of everything. And so then they know I'm not trying to like, oh shit, he don't even want me as a client, or he's going to be too busy. So I need them chasing me. I don't need to be chasing them.
Gotcha.
What do you mean if we don't work together? Why wouldn't we work together? It's like, I don't know. It's like, if something comes up and my wife wants to go on vacation, I got to go where the wife says. I don't have time to come over here. Or, we've got clients lined up that are, waiting for escrow to close. And as soon as they get the keys, they want us to do it. And you need this done at a certain, we'll wait for you. We want to make sure that you guys do it. All right, well, let's get on the books. But I never, ever, ever act like I'm desperate for their business. And luckily at this point in my life, and for the last, 15 or 20 years, I haven't been, but if it was back in the day, you end up, and you're begging for the work, you always end up freaking doing it too cheap, and you're getting, it's like you end up working for clients that you normally wouldn't work for, and you've seen the red flags go up, and you're like, it doesn't matter, I got to pay the bills. And so you take jobs that you don't want, and you take them for less than you want. So it's just a bad place to be.
Okay. Awesome. Well, you've given me like a lot of information to contemplate over the weekend. I really just wanted to kind of pick your brain because I literally have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but I'm trying to learn it. So.
I mean, it's fun to learn. I mean, it ends up like, because once you learn, it transcends. It doesn't matter. Anytime that you're serving other people, it just doesn't matter. It's like, find out what their needs are, and then you either fit and you can do it, or you find someone who can. In either way, you're always trying to, help them out. But at the same time, you don't want no one taking advantage of you either. Most people mistake kindness for being a fool, and you can't let that happen. So it's just kind of figuring it out as you go along. But like I said, when you guys have that vision on the board, or when you know the outcome that everyone's trying to achieve, it makes it a lot freaking easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely get that going on Monday. I thank you for taking the time, Brian.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you reaching out.
Absolutely. And I'll probably be reaching out more.
Hey, and then too, yeah, it's like if you're looking at like somewhere for like 10 chairs to sit up in a room, just let me know what you're thinking about.
Absolutely. I will get, I know of a few places, but I mean, they're here in Nampa, they're not in Boise, and I don't want everybody to have to like
Yeah.
drive the cover to Nampa. I want to keep it in Boise. So,
Yeah, and I don't know anything about that whole area.
oh, we're going to have to teach you when you
Yeah.
come up.
I know there's an area called Meridian or something, right?
Yep,
And I think,
Meridian Eagle area.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the place.
yeah, because I got two friends that moved up there and like they both live in Meridian, and then I think that's where Anthony lives. I was like, shit, is that everybody? Is that where? So
No, there's some of us that live out here in Nampa, which is kind of like, but not as
cool.
ghetto as Cellphone.
All right, cool. Thanks, dear.
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right, right.